whether through the comment section or through my personal DM. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Now today, I just want to give my own analysis and review of the Batman movie, which came out, about 2 weeks ago? Yeah. So the Batman, Matt Reeves Batman. I watched it. From my own personal analysis. First, let me give you some of my own thoughts and biases I had before I went into the movie. So this Batman, as advertised, what was advertised was going to be played by Robert Pattinson of all people, the guy from Twilight. Now, if you're like me, who's always been a fan of comic books and never really that romance stuff, the only thing you know is that he's that guy from Twilight who all the girls love. So when I first heard of the announcement, I was kind of disappointed, and I was like, I think this is really going to be disappointing me for a long while. But when I watched the movie, I was actually pleasantly surprised, because Robert Pattinson actually made an interesting Batman. Why do I say so? When I say an interesting Batman, his Bruce Wayne wasn't that bad, but it wasn't the best I've seen, but more on that later. But on the Batman aspect, Robert Pattinson went for more of a... When you watch Robert Pattinson's Batman, you get a vibe of the animated Batman type. You see, it's like that detective work. He's always moving where the crime takes him. It's not that guy who relies heavily on his fists or heavily on interrogation, but he investigates the clues. And for some reason, apparently, Alfred is some kind of cryptologist who can decipher any code which he sees. That was weird. But anyway, at least it's better than the engineer Alfred. So, yeah, Alfred is different things in different versions. But anyway, this Batman actually investigates crime scenes. He puts pieces together and it was actually really fun. It reminded me a lot of Batman The Long Halloween, which is a really cool animated movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that one. It was Batman, the world's greatest detective. And I really liked the Riddler in this movie. At first, I didn't really get the whole mask thing. Maybe I thought they were trying to do a version of the Hush storyline. Which again, if you haven't seen the movie, sorry if I'm spoiling for you. But it's also another DC Animated Universe movie, which is another good movie. If you haven't seen, I recommend you go watch. But it was like a really twisted version of the Riddler. I didn't expect to see this on the big screen, but I loved it. I really loved it. So yeah, The Batman was a really good movie, good hero. So another villain in the story, who I think, he was not the main villain, but his role was really prominent in the story, was Carmine Falcone, or the Roman. Now, for those of you who don't know, Carmine Falcone has always been a major influence in the Batman story. If you watch the Christian Bale trilogy, you would remember Carmine Falcone as the fat guy, or the original villain in the first story, who was working with the Scarecrow. He was the one who was controlling crime. He was the one who had all those crowds under his belt. Yeah, he's the one. But you see, in this movie, I really like the way he's done, because it adapts it in such a way, again from The Long Halloween. We see this story in which we see Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne actually went to the Roman for help. Now, if you watch The Long Halloween, or if you're just aware of the Batman mythos, you understand that what actually happened is that in a certain universe or in a certain reality, is that when the Roman was young, or when the Roman's father was actually the boss, the Roman got shot, and the father brought in Thomas Wayne because he couldn't go anywhere, because if he had taken him to a hospital, then Salvatore Maroni would have had him killed. But instead, he took him to Thomas Wayne, and since Thomas Wayne was a doctor and he had taken that oath to save people, he saved the Roman's young life. And then, moving a few years later, it had come into light that Martha Wayne, Thomas, his wife, Bruce's mom, actually had some mental challenges while she was younger, and this was troubling the Waynes. So the Waynes went to the Roman for help. And what did Falcone do? In fact, they went to the Roman for help to silence the journalist who was in charge of this. But the Roman, being the Roman, actually had the journalist killed, which was sad in the end. Quite sad. But in any case, when they had them killed, Thomas and Martha were scared and they threatened to go turn themselves into the police. The next day, they died. So, this actually places a connection between Thomas and Martha's death to the Roman. But another thing, we'll come back to that later, obviously in other movies, but just watch out for that in future movies. Now, another thing which was interesting about this movie, again, going back to the Roman, is his relationship with Selina Kyle. Now, we know from the comics and from other movies, again from the Long Halloween, that actually the Roman was actually Selina Kyle's dad, but he abandoned her when her mom died. And this obviously did not make Selina Kyle happy. So Selina Kyle tried to get revenge by killing him. But all of this was actually a ruse by the Riddler, so that he could work together with Batman, could kill the Roman. Now, this is actually quite good. I really love, what am I saying with all this? I just really love the way they handled Batman villains in this movie. You know, especially these types of movie villains. You have the Riddler. Don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey is quite a good actor, but I don't think he was a fit for the Riddler. You have the Penguin. Again, Danny DeVito is a good actor, but his Penguin wasn't sublime. Besides, we know the Penguin isn't an animal. In fact, he's a gangster, and I really loved that they also brought the aspects of the Iceberg Club in this movie, and it was so involved, and you could see that the Penguin and Batman, so involved. And he was so much involved in Batman's detective work that you actually felt as if it was an animated story, which is actually has been better than most of the live action stories of Batman. So in conclusion, I definitely recommend you go seeing the Batman if you have the chance, or you can wait for the HD version when it comes out in April, which is also fine. Either way is good. Personally, I just say see the Batman movie. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's a good DC movie. It's a good Batman movie. It doesn't try to be something it's not. It keeps everything within the mythos. The only thing I wish we had seen more was a bit more Bruce Wayne, because in most of these movies, just like the cartoons, as I keep saying, you don't get many shows of Robin Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. In fact, in the whole movie, I think it's like 3 major scenes. Most of the time, it's just Batman. The Bat and the Cat. So, yeah. And also, this is just a side note, the Joker is in there too. And the Joker, I know you love the Joker. I know you do. And I really want to see what they're gonna do with the Joker. But overall, Matt Reeves' Batverse Gotham this has got me intrigued. I really wanna see what they do. So yeah, solid 7 out of 10. And yeah, hopefully the next one will be better. And hopefully you've liked the video. And if you've liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you next time. This has been Jedediah for Nerd Vibe. Peace out.